Good. Let's start bottom. Is Carol here? Is Claire here?
I don't think so.
She's got her picture. There's a circle on Sarah. Okay, lovely. Lovely. Tommy, hair looks cool. Tom, you need to learn when you don't play with it is when it looks beautiful. When it's fucking mad and cool, is like when it's just so fucking cool. You don't need to like. It's like I see it as a model for myself. I don't want societal norms to kind of like restrict your hair. Do you know what I mean and stuff? Like you could have a big fucking mane and it'd be fine. Good. I mean, next time you see me in person, you can shave at me and leave it in my altar as an homage to my brilliance. But like, you know, like when these people go to temples in India and shave it as like to their god. I mean, we can do that, but like until then, you know, just leave it big. Good. So Nathan. My Spanish friend would kill me, but I bought some tortilla from a supermarket. My Spanish friend would kill me, but I bought some tortilla from a supermarket.
Mon ami espagnol me tuerait, mais j'ai acheté de la tortilla d'un supermarché. Oh no.
But I would have said tortilla because a lot of people do, but I'm not sure if it's a false yeah. Lasagna is lasagne rather than lasagna in Italian. In French, a lot of French people say tortille because there's a French verb tortiller, which is kind of like twist around and all this business. But I wanted to check if it's actually formal, but no, it isn't. We still say tortilla. Okay, but you do hear tortilla. Lovely. She used to Nathan. She used to make her own version when she lived with me. She used to make her own version when she lived with me.
Elle faisait elle-même.
Oh. Her own. Say my house.
Ma maison.
Say me my own house.
Ma propre maison.
Back you go.
Elle faisait sa propre version quand elle habitait avec moi.
Pronunciation, quand elle habitait avec moi. And again.
Elle faisait son sa.
Well, will you tell me what's the pronunciation of what's the gender version?
Yeah, I think feminine.
What's the last three letters of the word version?
I-O-N.
Therefore, is it male or female?
Female.
Off you go.
Elle faisait sa propre version quand il s'est... Elle faisait sa propre version quand elle habitait avec moi.
Good. One more from Nathan. I love potatoes, but I love potatoes and I don't really want to remove more foods, but I am trying to be even more anti-inflammatory.
J'adore les pommes de terre, mais... Non. J'adore les pommes de terre et je voulais pas enlever plus d'élémentaires de ma régime, mais j'essaie d'être plus anti-inflammatoire.
J'adore des patates. We don't tend to say pommes de terre, we tend to say patates. Alors, j'adore des petites patates, j'adore des patates. Pommes de terre is the correct word, but patates. Et je veux pas vraiment, j'ai pas vraiment trop envie d'enlever plus de nourriture. Lovely. Régime de ce que je mange, mais je cherche j'essaie d'être moins anti-inflammatoire, plus anti-inflammatoire. Good. Tom. Luke. Tell me, what did you do last night? Tell me, what did you do last night?
Luc, dis-moi, qu'est-ce que tu as fait hier soir?
I met a friend I went to school with that I hadn't seen since 1996.
J'ai vu un ami avec qui je suis allé à la cour que j'ai pas vu depuis 1000.
Keep going.
Depuis 1996. 1996.
1996.
1996.
Good. Ish. Go again. Clean it up. Virtually perfect. Not quite. Go again.
J'ai vu un ami avec qui je suis allé à l'école que j'ai pas vu depuis.
Pause. That was our first mistake. So we did well up until. Whether we went with j'allais à l'école or je suis allé à l'école, fine, depending on how you're talking about it. But what is the word which follows that? We've just spoken about the friend. And then we're saying I went to school with. So just, sorry. Avec qui je suis allé à l'école. So we've said qui previously for avec qui because we're using. So in other words, your mouth heard the word qui and then me quite correctly because it was avec qui. So don't think I'm changing my own rules. I always say if you're going to carry on with the same person you're talking about, use qui, and if you're bringing in a new person, use que. But you've just heard your mouth say avec qui j'allais à l'école. Why? Because on this occasion it's after with whom rather than the relative pronoun qui or que. So in other words, that's a different set of rules. But if it's that I haven't seen, it goes back to our classic set of rules. So is that going to be qui or que?
It's going to be que.
Nope, but I can see why your mouth was lured into that because of what we just done with the avec qui. Off you go.
Okay. J'avoue un ami avec qui.
J'avoue as I confess. What did you need to confess? Tell Auntie Lukey. Get down on all fours and beg forgiveness. What have you done?
I've said j'avoue instead of j'ai vu.
That's j'ai vu. Yeah, but j'avoue is I confess. J'avoue is I confess. Right, so j'ai vu.
J'ai vu un ami avec qui j'allais à l'école que j'ai pas vu depuis 1987. 1996.
You will hear 1900, but I don't like it. 1996.
1996.
Lovely. Stuart. I regret to have to tell you, he's an American. He's a very clever chap. He was a concert standard violinist, as was his brother. He had a whole career waiting for him in that. People begging for him to go to like Royal College of Music and whatever, Juilliard and all these places. But he decided not to do that. He then went to Cambridge and did some form of like maths and science and engineering. Then he ended up getting a professorship there at one of the colleges. He's just the most gifted kid. He's from two really hardcore Italian American, like, and I don't mean like Jersey Shore. I mean as in kind of like super kind of geeky, super sciencey, super like, you know, whatever family. Like they're he's from Kansas. He's a really nice kid. Well, kid, he's 45. I mean, obviously, we went to school together. He's 45. I'm obviously 32 for anybody watching, but even though we're in the same year at school, he's 45. Right. So Stuart said, I regret to have to tell you, he's an American. I regret to have to tell you he's an American. I can't hear you, Stuart.
That's, je regrette de te dire.
Je regrette de is lovely, but I regret to have to tell you. I need to have to.
Je regrette de dois dire.
Pause, Stuart. You just beautifully, correctly said, je regrette de te dire. So you know that what form of a verb comes after de. How are we going to bring in the have to if it's going to be in that form of the verb? So what form of a verb? What form of a verb comes after da?
Je regrette de devoir dire.
Good. Nice accent. Now give me I regret to have to tell you.
Oh, je regrette de devoir te dire
Good that he's an American.
qu'il est américain.
That's fine, as long as we remember that we're using an adjective there as opposed to c'est un Américain. Yeah, okay. Lovely. He grew up in England between the age of, actually that's bullshit, he stayed in England. Like, but say for me, I knew him at school between 12 and 18.
Je le connais à l'école entre l'âge de 4 et...
You bitches need to listen. I knew him at school between the ages of 12 and 18.
Je le connais à l'école entre l'âge de 12 et 18.
Je l'ai connu à, je l'ai connu à l'école entre l'âge de 12 ans et 18 ans. Huh? One more, Stuart. But weirdly, he never lost his accent. Weirdly, he never lost his accent.
Maybe bizarrement, je n'ai perdu ton accent.
He didn't lose your accent.
Yeah, okay.
Well, he didn't actually use your accent. Well, he's from Kansas. It's not quite the same as yours, but yes. So, il n'a jamais perdu son accent.
It's more like Nate.
Yes, it's closer to Nathan. Yeah. He's just a little bit sort of swingy and happier sounding. Okay.
They have the perfect American accent.
I think so. Although voice coaches actually quote South Dakota. Yeah, American voice coaches for other Americans teaching them to speak cleanly and well for Hollywood always quote like South Dakota for some reason. That's the classic one. I don't know why, but that is. Good. Yeah. Brendan. He told me he hadn't done it on purpose. He told me that he hadn't done it on purpose.
Il m'a dit qu'il n'a pas fait exprès.
He hadn't done it on purpose.
Il n'avait pas fait exprès.
He hadn't done it on purpose.
Il ne l'avait pas fait exprès.
Good. So you guys have got to be super, super, super sensitive to the fact that in French, if one thing is here and another thing is before it, that's what we've got to do. Yeah. Okay. Il a dit qu'il ne l'avait pas fait exprès. Brendan, it happened like that. It happened like that.
Ça se passe comme ça.
That happened like that.
Ça s'est passé comme ça.
Lovely. What's a more elegant version of saying comme ça? Ainsi.
Ainsi, oui.
Ainsi. Ça s'est passé ainsi. Okay. Good. When he called me 6 months ago, he had an English accent. When he called me 6 months ago, he had an English accent. I'm always happy for anybody that can improve themselves. I really am. So off you go. So when he called me 6 months ago, he had an English accent.
Quand il m'a appelé il y a 6 mois, il a un accent anglais. Il avait un accent anglais.
Good. Lovely. Like mine, not like that north of the wall thing Brendan uses. Lovely. I said to him, Nathan, I said to him, what's happened to you? I said to him, what's happened to you?
Je lui ai dit, qu'est-ce qu'il te arrive? Qu'est-ce qu'il t'arrive?
So, I'd like you to put the following information together. You've acknowledged that arriver is the verb to happen to somebody. Correct. You've acknowledged that arriver uses the verb to be. Correct. You've acknowledged that we need the pronoun to, correct. You've acknowledged that the verb to be in the middle will be third person singular because it's what happened to you rather than you arrived, correct. Put all of that shit together.
Je lui ai dit qu'est-ce qu'il t'est arrivé.
That's it. He said, I've no idea. My parents went home and I just what was it he said? He said my parents went home. I think what it was is when he was at school, everybody kept saying, oh, where are you from? And obviously the last place that he previously lived was kind of like Kansas. And then, even though he's there 6 years, so when he went off to university, people were like, oh, where are you from? And he's like, well, I don't want to say Kansas because I'm not. I've been in kind of Shropshire for like 6 years. So he said just subconsciously, like the voice changed. Just absolutely. And then he literally sounds completely English now. He sounds completely English. It's so weird. I was like, but you came over. And in language learning, what we often say is if you arrive in a country before 14, you can get to the stage of not having an accent. So, yeah. I suppose the other thing is he was living with his parents until the age of 18 and then he wasn't. So that's the only thing. Good. So say for me, the only thing I can imagine is that he was no longer living with his parents. The only thing I can imagine is that he was no longer living with his parents.
La seule chose que je peux imaginer, c'est qu'il n'a plus habité chez ses parents.
He wasn't living anymore. Il n'habitait plus.
Il n'habitait plus chez ses parents.
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 Brendan, what's the word for parents?
Parents.
Thank you. What would it not be, Brendan?
Parents.
There we go. Lovely. Parents. Lovely. Oui, alors la seule chose que je peux imaginer, c'est que voilà, il habitait plus avec ses parents, ou chez ses parents. Good. Tom, I adored his dad. His dad was the sweetest man. I adored his dad. His dad was the sweetest man.
J'adorais son père. Son père était l'homme le plus doux.
Lovely or mignon. Lovely. Good. What I actually found incredibly triggering, if I'm really honest, was this kid was my number one fan at school because people were kind of dicks to him. And I kind of stood up for the kid because I just thought he was amazing. I thought he was a really cool guy. And I've always worshipped the cult of intelligence. I was like, so because he's not the fat fucking jock, you're going to be a dick to this kid that's basically like, and I could see him trying so hard to be liked by the jock crowd. And I was just like, why the fuck do you care about that load of dickheads? But because of dance, although I've always been completely like, I didn't know I was gay until I was 20 something, but like, I've never given a shit about that crowd. But because of dance, I've always been incredibly sporty. Like I was wicked at all sports because ballet training versus any other sports training, it just shits on it. So I was kind of really popular with everybody, but I just didn't like bullying in a weird way. I didn't like people being excluded. I don't mind being tough on people, go, oi, hurry the fuck up. But I don't like people feeling excluded from a group. And they used to just exclude him a bit. So he's really super, super grateful and just really, really nice. Yeah. And yeah, it's just a really weird dynamic. But what I found really triggering was he kept going, like he was telling his kid who was there as well. And he was like, oh, you see, Luke was just so fucking capable at school, and Luke was so this, and Luke was just completely in charge of all social situations with such aplomb. And I was just like, oh my God, what happened to that person? I was like, oh yeah, ciprofloxacin. And I was like, oh my God, I kind of know this person. I was like, this person didn't go away until 3 years ago. But it was kind of a bit like, it was almost a bit traumatic in this, like, he remembered, because he'd only ever met me before this medication, which I found a bit weird. Good. So say for me, Nathan, who have I just done? Who's the last person that did it? Was it Tom? Yeah, Tom, do me another one. I was touched that he said this kind of thing, that he had said this kind of thing. I was touched that he had said this kind of thing.
J'étais touché qu'il avait dit ce genre de choses.
You've just fallen into my little trap, which is quite hot. you're all like, oh, I'm dead proud of myself because I heard the had, and I was touched, and Luke, he'd fallen into it before this. What is I was touched? Apart from my autobiography, what is I was touched? I was touched. Lessons with Luke. It's the story you can all write. Show us on the doll where Luke touched you. Show us on the doll. No, show us on Tom, Nathan, where you want Luke to touch you. That's what my police interview will be. I'm not making light of anybody who's been touched in childhood way. Please make that very clear, YouTube. So, in all, what is I was touched going to make happen, Tom?
What is it going to make happen?
Is it A, it's going to give me a semi, B, I'm going to cry about it, or C, it's going to give me the subjunctive?
Oh, of course, because it's an emotion. Sorry, yeah, okay.
So even though we have that I was touched that he had said this kind of thing, how am I going to say I was touched that he had said this kind of thing?
J'étais touché qu'il ait dit ce genre de choses.
That's it. We don't have a subjunctive plus.
No subjunctive.
Yeah, we don't have a subjunctive pluperfect. We only have the subjunctive present normal and the subjunctive present on the middle. Are we all in agreement on this, people? Yeah, it's not like our literary friend that we've done, you know, il, u, hat, t, d, or any of this crap, or no, or the il, u, d with the passé intérieur. None of that. Yeah, good, lovely. Tom, another one. His child identifies as ADHD and they, them. Like I think most people under the age of 18 who wants any form of attention, sadly, in the school system. That's not knocking anybody who's genuinely trans, but it does seem to be like a gateway thing for a lot of people to get a bit of attention. It kind of takes it off genuine trans cases, if I'm honest. I wait for a 16-year-old to tell me that they are cis. No, I would just automatically call the they, them. I've got friends who teach secondary who are like, of the kids I teach, 14% identify as cis and non neurodivergent. It's like it's just that much of a thing. It's just like, yeah, which is not saying it's not real. I'm just saying it's like it's a thing people aspire to, which is kind of cool in a weird way, but I'm sure it'll settle down. Good. So but you don't want to make someone's real life a gimmick, so that's the only thing. Lovely. So Tom, so say for me, his child lives near to where I dance with Phil on a Thursday. His child lives near to where I dance with Phil on a Thursday.
Son enfant habite près d'où je danse avec Phil au jeudi.
Flawless. Good man. Close your mouth, go again. Oui, alors son enfant habite près d'où je danse avec Phil jeudi.
Son enfant habite près d'où je danse avec Phil au jeudi.
That was no faster. Though I wanted to practice it faster. Son enfant habite près d'où j'habite avec. No, I don't live with Phil. More's the pity. C'est son enfant habite près d'où je danse avec Phil jeudi matin. Add matin on the end.
Son enfant habite près d'où je danse avec Phil jeudi matin.
Why? Because we've gone fast. Have we now gone to je dance? It's je danse.
Je danse. Son enfant habite près d'où je danse avec Phil jeudi matin.
Lovely. Tom, you say dance rather than dance in real life, don't you?
I dance. Yeah.
So you and you at speed notice you would return to your own vowels and be careful with that. God, the central heating is killing me. Le chauffage me tue. Stuart. Luke, it's the same here. When I have been outside and I enter the building, I can't stop coughing. Luke, it's the same here. When I have been outside and I enter the building, I can't stop coughing. Microphone, Stuart, microphone.
Luc, c'est le même ici.
When I have been outside and I enter the building, I can't stop coughing.
Quand Jean,
when I have been.
Isn't it when I enter the building?
Yeah, but before that, when I have been outside. Do that bit first.
Had been or have been?
When I have been outside.
Quand j'ai été dehors.
Good. And I enter the building, which is present tense, and I enter the building.
Et j'entre le bâtiment.
J'entre dans le bâtiment. Entrer dans le bâtiment. Yeah, okay. I can't stop coughing.
Je peux pas me tousser.
I can't stop coughing.
Je peux pas m'arrêter de tousser.
Je peux pas. What's the verb to stop?
Arrête.
What form is it going to be? Je peux pas arrêter.
I think you say stop myself. I thought I was saying m'arrête. No.
Oh, fine. That's fine. You can say that. Mais je peux pas m'arrêter de tousser. But yeah, je peux pas arrêter de tousser. Be more common. Yeah, je peux pas arrêter de tousser. Good. Yeah. Lovely. My grandmother, Stuart. My grandmother had the same problem. To be fair, the poor bitch was COPD, but that's what smoking will do for you. So my grandmother had the same problem. So I told her to put a cup of water on top of the radiator. My grandmother had the same problem, so I told her to put a cup of water on top of the radiator.
Ma grand-mère avait le même problème.
So I told her.
Alors.
Good.
Alors, je lui ai dit.
To put a cup of water. You could use poser, but the verb with an M here is a bit more common. De mettre.
Oh, I was thinking déplacer, but that's not right.
Déplacer would be fine. Déplacer, yeah, but yeah, that would work. Yeah, déplacer, de mettre a cup of water.
Mettre une tasse d'eau.
On top of the radiator.
Au-dessus le radiateur.
Good, but you've only got everything you've just done. You are making such progress. It's so impressive. Just one tiny bit. Au-dessus and radiator. How are you going to link that? What's the full?
Au-dessus de.
And then how am I going to link de and radiator?
Au-dessus. I don't know if radiator is masculine or feminine, to tell you the truth.
Why don't you try going plural, and you'll notice it's a nice way out of it. On top of the radiators.
Au-dessus des radiateurs.
Radiateur, it's masculine. Yeah. Au-dessus des radiateurs. So au-dessus du radiateur, au-dessus des radiateurs. Don't forget, guys, because you're used to hearing au-dessus or ci-dessus or whatever, that you're used to thinking, oh, that stops. But on top of, au-dessus de, du, de, la, de, yada, 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 yada. All right. Good. Lovely. Stuart, one more. Because the dry air was preventing her from breathing in properly. Breathing in. Because the dry air was preventing her from breathing in properly. We don't do well with dry air in this country. Whenever it's super cold, if I had a freaking pound for every time my Russian friend said, and I'd be like, why are you moaning, Chris? You're from Moscow and you went to college in St. Petersburg. It's just like, if it's not -15, you're not at home. And if I hear the phrase dry cold one more time, I'm like, yes, we get it. But people in the UK, we're not comfortable if there's not moisture in the air. Yeah, we like Daryl Hannah in Splash, that movie, The Mermaid. We need to kind of like once a month, we need to be in the water, otherwise we're feeling a bit weird. Off you go. So say for me, which prevented her from, no, sorry, the dry air prevented her from coughing. The dry air prevented her from breathing in properly. The dry air prevented her from breathing in properly.
Parce que l'air sec lui a empêché de l'inspirer correctement, or whatever.
Lovely. Now, I'm trying to find a page for you. I'm about to pop it in the group, so I'm going to put it in the Skype link. No, the WhatsApp's easier. Put it in the WhatsApp. I can't find the text box there. Put it in the whatever. So what's this shit called? French group class. No, what do we call it? Is that we call it intermediate? What do we call this lot? This band of
Called intermediate group.
That's it, Stuart. Well done. That's it. Could you click on that link there, please?
Empêché, yes.
Lovely. What else do we know about empêché, Stuart, that's there? What else does that little definition tell us?
It just hasn't come up yet to me. Empêché, okay.
When it's pronouns, what does that tell us?
It gives its...
What is written in blue underneath it? VTR, yes?
Yes.
So that tells me it's going to be an active transitive verb, yes? So empêcher quelqu'un. Also, look underneath. Yes, that's it. Now look underneath at the example given. So whenever you see a verb, look for the reference with the quelqu'un. Does it say empêcher à quelqu'un or does it say empêcher quelqu'un?
It just says VTR, so it's, I guess it's...
Underneath, which is why I checked. Does it mention something with quelqu'un?
Oh, below that I see empêcher quelqu'un.
There you go. Lovely. So if it's empêcher quelqu'un, does that mean it's direct or indirect?
It's going to be indirect.
But basically, you guys naturally think of as to prevent as being one of the antonyms of to allow, which you all know is permettre à quelqu'un. So you think, oh, je lui permets, je lui empêche. Lovely. Okay, that's the problem. Okay. Also, the other antonym, yeah, is interdire. Let me bring that up for you. You can look what that looks like. If you then now see the problem. So you're going to see a problem which is going to arise for you clever boys. So tell me when interdire is up and running. Tell me when that's up and running.
Interdire is up and running.
Right. So the problem being that some people go, oh, Luke's explained it. If it's VTR, that means transitive direct, which it does. It does. That means transitive in a direct way. But the problem is, permettre is direct. You might go, no, it's not. It's je lui permets. Permettre is direct to the fucking object. So I allow smoking. Je permets le tabagisme. I allow alcohol. Je permets l'alcool. Okay? How else am I going to seduce you lot? So when you see this VTR, when you check them, don't be fooled. It will sometimes have a form which works for things. Yeah. So in other words, I ban things, interdire. You're banning something which is direct. So je l'interdis will be in your muscle memory. I ban it. They banned it. Ils l'ont interdit. As opposed to they banned him from doing it. Ils lui ont interdit. Do you see why you've got to be careful with that? Yeah. So quick recap. By all means, look on word reference. Why not? It's an amazing website. Secondly, look out for the VTR, which on its own means, you know, direct normally, unless it will specify underneath. Be like, you know, indirect, you know, trans. But be careful. That just means that's how you're going to carry the thing. Doesn't necessarily mean how you're going to link the person to that. Are we completely clear on that? So look for the quelqu'un. But in short, then, just copy me. Say je lui permets. Je lui interdis, je l'empêche. Just say that.
Permets, je lui interdis, je l'empêche. Oops.
Thank you for rendering the last 6 minutes of my life useless. But yeah, well done.
And you know, on interdit, the one we have here is les parents de Nathan lui interdisent de manger des bonbons.
Is that what they've got?
Yes, Nathan's parents don't allow him to eat sweets.
But his state, they're all cults, aren't they? It's like Footloose, be frank. Like music's banned, anything's banned. Do you know what I mean?
example. That's their
Yeah,
example.
exactly. I mean, basically, they're the Amish with sand, aren't they? Really? Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's just like they're like Dust Bowl Amish. I mean, let's be frank. Good. Off you go. Good. Well done. Well done. Well done. So, empêcher and until do. We've had a nice conversation about it. Lovely. Nathan's like, yeah, but I come to Paris and I do everything. He's like, I touch everything and everyone I was banned from touching in my home.
So much candy. You won't even believe.
And that's just figurative for people. Lovely. Good. Off you go. My daughter's got an Aunt Candy on her mum's side. Well, on her mum's female partner's side. Yeah. Good. Yes. Brendan. Luke, it was lovely to see Brenda in the previous group. Luke, it was lovely to see Brenda in the previous group.
Luc, c'est...
It will not correct you and wasn't present tense anymore. It was lovely to see Brenda in the previous group.
Luc, c'était génial de voir Brenda dans le groupe présidente.
Almost. Are you telling me about the head of the United States of America? Are you telling me about a very good brand of butter? Or are you telling me about preceding? Which word are you saying? Président or précédent?
Précédente.
That's lovely. Why feminine?
Because of the group.
Which is not a feminine word.
Oh, is it not? Of course, I always do that. Yeah, le groupe président.
Everybody thinks it's feminine because groupe is hard. Yep, okay. Un groupe. Yeah, le groupe précédent. But président is obviously much more common in your mouth. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Which is good. It's nice to have a muscle memory, but just not here. So oui, alors Luc, c'était sympa de voir Brenda dans le groupe précédent.
C'était sympa de voir Brenda dans le groupe précédent.
Gender of group.
Dans le groupe précédent.
Précédent ou précédent?
Précédent.
That's
dans
it.
le groupe précédent.
That's it. Okay. It's nice that you invited her. Bren's a little bit sad at the moment, bless her heart. So for me, it's nice that you invited her.
C'est sympa que tu l'invites.
And still. Say for me, you invited. Action.
Tu as invité.
Now say you invited. Yes, now say you invited her.
Tu l'as invité.
Now say it's nice that you invited her.
C'est sympa que tu l'as invité.
Envoité, invité, go.
Invité. Tu as invité. Tu l'as invité.
Lovely. I am bored. It's nice that. What will that do?
I will make the subjunctive.
Why? Tell me why.
Because boredom is a feeling.
Isn't about that.
I'm bored that.
It is a neutral sentence.
Of course. Yeah.
And unless our neutral is like, it's certain that. Okay, it's probable that. It's just an adjective. So therefore, it's a neutral sentence. It's a personal sentence, all right? So, c'est sympa que tu make that subjunctive.
C'est sympa que tu l'aies en.
Thank you. But we haven't had a hint, Brendan, of a mispronunciation of invité. So well fucking done. Good. Which bear in mind we started in 2023. We're almost at the end of 2023. It's an achievement, isn't it? So you've only got like one or whatever it is, 2 more weeks to not fuck up that, and then we can say we've achieved that in 2023. So well done. Good. Very good. People do it. Even Elizabeth does it when she's tired. I'm like, oh, God. Lovely. C'était sympa que tu l'aies invité. Lovely. Nathan. Luke, you should have more guests it makes the group more interesting. Luke, you should have more guests. It makes the group more interesting.
Luc, tu devrais avoir des invités, ça le rend le groupe plus intéressant.
Stand still. Translate for me. I'm a cunt who doesn't listen.
Je suis un con qui n'écoute pas.
Lovely. You should have more guests. Is a more a quantity word?
Yes.
Therefore, how do you say more guests?
Plus d'invités.
You're twisting the knife in the already deep wound. Say for me lots of guests.
Beaucoup d'invités.
Good girl. Why was that acceptable to you? Did you feel the need to say beaucoup des invités? Did you feel the need to say that? Yes or no?
No.
Why didn't you feel the need, Nathan? Because it is a quantity.
Muscle memory. Oh,
well,
and
yes,
that too.
It's a quantity.
Yeah.
Quantities don't need the. You can use the if it's more of the guests that attend Luke's Keys in the Bowl sex parties are surviving to the end of the night these days than 3 years ago. Yeah. Previously I'd have a shitload of bodies to bury the following morning. Okay. Fewer of the people, lots of presents, I buy Phil lots of presents. Lots of the presents that I bought Phil last year were socks and clothing and stuff. Yeah. So do you understand? You can use the with quantity, but very specifically. Otherwise, it's just So say for me, more guests.
Plus d'invités.
Are we completely clear on that, Nathan? Yeah.
Yes.
So Luke, you should invite more guests to the group. It would make it interesting.
Luc, tu devrais inviter plus d'invités au groupe.
More guests, not fewer guests. More.
Oh, right. Luc, tu devrais avoir plus d'invités au groupe parce que ça le rend le groupe plus intéressant.
Tu devrais inviter plus d'invités. Tu devrais inviter plus d'invités, ou tu devrais avoir plus d'invités in the group, or invite to the group. Lovely. That would make it more interesting.
Ça le rendrait plus intéressant.
Good. Tom. Because I always leave before everybody else leaves, I consider myself to be a guest. Luke, because I always leave before everybody else leaves, you're like Anna Wintour at a party. She comes, she does 15 minutes, she fucks off. So say for me, that's the editor-in-chief of Vogue, people. So for the non-gay, so that's Stuart. Yeah. So basically, say for me, Luke, because I leave before everybody else leaves, I consider myself a guest.
Parce que je quitte avant que tout le monde quitte.
Listen. Corrections cannot be corrected if people don't listen.
Sorry.
I know. That's all right. It's Brendan. Your bad manners are leaking everywhere. So basically, quitter needs something. Yeah. So you can't leave. That's it. So partir is fine. Yeah. Partir is fine. Or se casser or s'en aller, they're fine. Yeah, but not quitter on its own. Not quitter on its own. All right, go again. So because I leave before other people leave.
Could you say je m'en vais as well?
You can't, because that's not the correct conjugation, but you can use that verb. Go again.
Je m'en vais, even. Parce que je partis avant que tout le monde...
We've just agreed you're going to use je m'en vais. And if we were using partir, what's the present tense I leave? Parce que je pars.
Je pars.
There we go. Slow it down, go again.
Ok. Parce que je pars avant que tout le monde parte, je pense moi comme invité.
Good. Je me considère, ou je me vois, lovely, or je me, comme un invité. Lovely. It's my own fault. After spending an hour with you all, I need 15 minutes to myself in my bedroom. It's my own fault, Luke. After spending an hour with you all, I need 15 minutes by myself in my own bedroom.
C'est mon propre erreur, Luc, après avoir
Don't
passé.
get it. It's my own fault. It's my own fault.
C'est mon propre erreur.
Check your passport. Does it say British? Does it? Does it? Why have we taken on this brave new world, hopeful, I'll just say the same thing again in the hope that it's correct, that I don't normally get from Brits. I only get that from Americans. If I've said it's wrong, it's not going to suddenly be right a few seconds later. Yeah. So you already give me the option. So think. My own fault. What's my fault? What's fault? What's
Mon erreur.
Oh, yeah. Put the damn passport back in the drawer and stop traveling on a foreign passport. What's my fault?
Ma faute.
Thank you. Lovely. Now say my own fault.
Ma propre faute.
Lovely. Say for me, it's my own fault. After spending an hour with you all, I need 15 minutes by myself in a bedroom.
C'est ma propre faute. Après avoir passé une heure avec vous, je dois...
With all of you, avec vous tous.
Avec vous tous, il me faut 15 minutes dans ma chambre.
All alone.
Toute seule.
Put your penis back on. Put your penis back on.
Toute seule.
Put your penis back. Good. Now you're drunk. So I don't want soul. I want all alone. Tout seul. That's what annoys me is when I'm getting the same vowel and you can't hear you give me the same vowel. Tout. What word am I saying? I wouldn't say the same vowel again if I were you. Stop. Spell the word that you're trying to say. Spell it for me.
SEUL.
Good. Say for me how EU is pronounced in any other word, not on its own. No. Listen to the English. Listen. Let people finish. EU, how it's pronounced in any other word, not on its own. EU in any other word. How do you pronounce EU when it's part of another word? How do you say I want, Tom?
Je veux, je veux.
So now say it all by yourself. Tout.
Toute seule.
Stop! You stop giving me 25 fucking stabby guesses. You're a bright guy. Clean your intellect up. Clean it up. All from man is going to be how? From man. Or anybody gender identified. Good. Tout. So stop fucking saying tout. We've had that correction already. Next, give me the vowel for EU in another word that you've just given me on the word p and v. What's that vowel? Good boy. Now, don't stab. When you stab with your throat, you can't find it. The harder you guys find vowels, go longer on those vowels. Go, let me hear it longer. No, that's not the same vowel. You're saying, I want the vowel I've given you. You did. You've just totally switched vowels. No, you've just totally switched vowels again. You've just totally switched vowels. You're reading. Stop it. Copy me. Say p. Now, say that vowel on its own, slowly. Listen to the sound, don't read. Now, remember where in your body that fucking vowel is. Remember where that vibration is. Say it to me. Now again, now add an S at the beginning of it and an L on the end.
Su.
No. Su is here. Say for me, again. Now add an S at the beginning of, just an S at the beginning of
Su.
Good. Now add an L at the end. Don't change the vowel in the middle.
Su.
No.
Su.
Go back. You're just saying something again. If only you had somebody who put makeup on their naked body for you. Oh, you did. Did you hear my wrist crack? Crack.
Su.
I don't want you to guess. You've had your chance. Copy me on the vowel. U. Copy me. U.
U.
Now on the vowel.
U.
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 U. Now stay here and say seul.
Seul.
No, that's up here. You're saying soon. Seul.
Seul.
Lower. Where is your vibration in your chest? Seul.
Seul.
You go straight into the chest. Say sir in English. Say, excuse me, sir. You can call me sir. I'm so pissed off. Say sir. Say sir.
Sir.
Now, go. Now, did you hear that gorgeous, gorgeous, thick, lovely, rich voice you've got in English? Right? Now say seul and make it vibrate in the same place. Not you, which is going up. Say seul.
Seul.
No. You're going to fucking ring me tomorrow at a time which suits you and I'll fucking do this. This is disgusting, man. I can't have you at your level saying shit like this. Seul. Seul.
Seul.
Seul. Seul. Different. All right. I need to go, people. I need to teach for an hour. Paul will be away because he's in Australia, so you need to do something earlier. I'm more than happy to give anybody that's still around a little tinkle in an hour, but I accept that's in an hour. If you guys are around, if anybody's around in an hour, I'll quite happily go for a walk and buy myself a drink. If you want anything in an hour, ping me in the group. If I've got 3 people, I will quite happily do it. Otherwise, I will see you next time at the same time. But I need to teach Paul for an hour now. All right? Seul. Tout seul. Tom, you are going to say, je peux, je veux, tout seul. Tout seul. All right? All my love people. You know how to pay me. Go, 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 go.